Good evening, good evening, good evening. Noise makers out there. Tonight, we have a very great show for you. Tonight, we are going to be talking about something that affects so many people, touches so many lives, yet for some reason, it's still considered a very taboo subject. Why is that? We're going to dive into it. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Echo Chamber, where tonight I have the pleasure and the honor of doing this show with my sister, my blood, my sister from the same mister, Nonie Byrd-Wright. Sis, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. I do appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule. I know you're so busy now because you're a celebrity now. Like how how does it feel to be a celebrity? Like, we got to dive into this, right? So you recently come back from the filming of, was it season 2?
Yes.
Of The Chosen. Tell us a little bit about The Chosen. What is The Chosen?
The Chosen is this phenomenal multi-season TV show about the life of Christ. First one that's ever been created about the life of Jesus, not just him, about his disciples. And it shows how he called them and how they have issues like the rest of us, problems, marital problems. One disciple, Matthew, has autism. So it is a phenomenal show and the largest crowd-funded TV show in history.
Excellent. So I do want to explore a little bit about that. So if you're not familiar with The Chosen, check this out.
Excuse me. I have something for you. For me. Throw this down for a catch.
I don't have a quarrel with you, teacher. But we've been doing this all night. Nothing. All right.
Fruit here is incredible. Everything that grows here is immaculate. Except for the people. You're such a miserable lot. You worship one God, and yet you're all divided.
Only one language keeps their peace. Learn to speak it.
You are the great Nicodemus.
I serve only God.
Yes, so do your enemies, rogue preachers in the wilderness, raving about a coming Messiah.
Simon, you're scared. I've lost everything. Burned every bridge. If I don't catch a ton of fish or get some help somehow, they'll arrest me. I'm trapped.
No more talking, Simon. Maybe God can get your attention now.
Who are you? Fear not, for I have redeemed you. I have called you by name. I saw him. It was incredible.
You have experienced a miracle. You are healed.
What do you want from me? Follow me.
He performs miracles and seeks no credit. Who did this?
I don't know his name. His time for men to know has not yet come.
We've waited for you for so long, we believe.
You have much bigger things ahead of you, Simon, son of Jonah. Anything is possible now. Don't you see?
Would you at least know him if you saw him again?
I will know him for the rest of my life.
Gives you chills.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Chosen. That's
Yes.
that's crazy.
Yes.
And you just come back from filming. So how was that? How was filming that whole thing? Like what was it like? Where
It was amazing. Because I was just there just to be an extra. And next thing I know, they asked me to be part of another project that they're filming about, my mental health struggles and all that stuff. So they selected a group of us for this project. And we're down there filming the Sermon on the Mount scene. And it was just phenomenal. It was cold because it was right at the beginning of the Dallas storm. So it was freezing. At one point, we're walking through a field that's covered in water and ice, and I'm barefoot in sandals. So we were the frozen chosen. But it was remarkable, a remarkable experience that I would do again in a heartbeat.
Excellent, excellent. And so I'm glad you brought that up with the. Hold on, let me get you here. The second project that you ended up involved in there, pertaining to, they were covering a little bit about your life, and so talk a little bit more about that, like how
did all that happen?
Yeah, how did that happen, and what is it, and go into detail for me there.
Okay. I'm gonna say as much as I can before the project's released.
Okay.
But I had went in and did my headshot and my bio, and I wrote a little about my story about PTSD, depression, my work in the service, what I do as a civilian job. And one of the producers hit me up and said, "Hey, we want to do a documentary about you, about your life, and have you come to the set and still film you while you're, they're filming the Sermon on the Mount scene." And next thing you know, they flew to Cincinnati. They filmed me. They asked me, questions about my life, my struggles with PTSD and depression, talked to my family, kept filming me, even when I got there on set. And I also vlogged my experiences, all the way up until I got there. So it was a miraculous journey.
Excellent, excellent. All right, so I wanted to get into, like you said, they asked you about your experience in the service. So, what made you want to enlist into the service? Well, what made you want to enlist, and what branch of the military did you serve in?
Well, I always wanted to enlist because our whole family is military. So it just made sense to go in, but I never went in. I just kind of did the normal high school route, went to college, XU, went to Xavier for a little while until I couldn't afford XU anymore. And so I dropped out and was just doing absolutely nothing with my life. And then one day, my cousin Irene said, "Hey, girl, let's join the military and get our lives together." I said, "Okay." So it's like, all right, cool. I wasn't doing anything else.
What
anyway.
else do I have to do?
So yeah, I ain't got nothing else going on. Yeah, I got time.
Yeah.
So I went. We went down to the Army National Guard recruiting station, enlisted. She ended up not going with me, so I went by myself.
Oh.
Yeah, went by myself, and that was in December of 1999.
Okay, so you decided that you were going to go in December of 1999. It seems like you got kind of duped into going. So you ultimately ended up retiring from the military recently. So what was it that kept you coming back? Now I want to be very clear, because when I did the thumbnail, the cover for this, I said I mentioned that you were a retired military veteran. Now, for a lot of people think retired, they think 65, collecting Social Security. But that's not the case when we're talking about retiring from the military. And actually, I would say that tends to be true with a lot of jobs where you are, where your body goes through physical things. I mean, like from sports and everything else. So you're not retiring at 65. So how long did you spend in the military, and what made you want to stay until retirement?
20 years, 20 years. When I first got in, I'm not going to lie, the Army was fun when I first got in. We worked hard and we played even harder. And then 9/11 hit. When 9/11 hit, it changed the whole course of the military. And when 9/11 hit, I was 8 months pregnant with my son. And at that moment, I just knew within my heart, like, man, we're about to be at war. 18 months later, my son's here, and next thing I know, I'm heading overseas. So, go ahead.
Good. So I did want to touch on that a little bit, because you end up being pregnant during your time in the service. So I do want to touch on that a little bit. Well, let's talk about that. I do want to talk more about why you decided to stay until retirement. But how was it being enlisted in the military, and you've got this thing going on in Iraq and Afghanistan, and here you are pregnant. Like, so what was that like for you?
It was terrifying. I'm not gonna lie. Leaving my son when he was 18 months old, and having to go over there, because you feel duty bound, and it's not just, oh, I'm there protecting the United States. You're there for your brother and sister that you're with, because we were all a unit. We were family, but I still had the responsibility of being a mom. So it's kind of like you're split down the middle. Serving your country, and versus, okay, I have to take care of this young life who's dependent on me. But my job to feed this young one who's dependent on me came from the U.S. Army. So that's a lot of the reason why I stayed in, is just because of him. Me finding out when I got back home that he had autism, and the cost of therapies and just to take care of him. He's the main reason why I stayed for 20 years.
Okay, so now you're in the military, and somewhere along the lines you ended up developing, or would you say it's PTSD? Is it depression? Or let me ask you this: when exactly for you did the mental anxiety? Let me put it like that, because I don't have a definition for it right now, and I'm going to get your definition here. But how did that come about, and when did it come about, and what is it that you were officially diagnosed, right? So so explain all of that. Like, where did it start? How did
it started overseas, in Kuwait, in Iraq. We were stationed in this little camp that was right on the border of Iraq and Kuwait. And one night a situation happened to me. And I ended up from that situation with anxiety, PTSD, and depression. And those are my clinical diagnosis. So that night something happened, and it's, spiraled out of control. I haven't slept a night since then without medication, because I also have clinical insomnia because of my PTSD.
Wow. Okay. So, let me get myself back up here. All right, there you go. I'm trying to, push all these buttons at the same time. And, all right. So, yeah. So let me ask you this. So with everything that was going on with you there, and I want to get back to the question I was asking you originally. You had the situation happen that triggered some PTSD and insomnia or whatever else have you, but yet you managed to stick with the military until retirement after 20 years. How did you find the courage to keep going, even though you were now, maybe not in the best place mentally? How do you?
It wasn't, I don't think so much of courage, but just of knowing this is what I had to do to survive. What I really did is I kept squashing down all of my feelings, the emotions. I blacked out what happened to me. I didn't report what happened. It was just like, just deny it, deny it, deny it, because you don't talk about stuff like that in the military. You don't talk about your problems, mental health, or nothing like that. At least, definitely back then, it was not encouraged at all. I mean, just the basics of being a soldier, it's that you never accept defeat. That is part of our soldier's creed. You never back down, and no matter what, you always stay at your post. So it's drummed into you from day one that suck it up, keep
So
pushing.
so how bad did it get for you, if you don't mind like talking about
It
that?
got
Like,
it got bad. I ended up getting a divorce because I got married, got a divorce because I hadn't dealt with my mental health, and I had 3 suicide attempts.
oh, wow.
And thank God that just in the nick of time, someone just happened to, come across me. Um, I try to overdose on sleep medications, any type of medications I had around. Suicide just seemed like the best answer, especially since, um, over the years, I've had 2 people that I served with, and one was a close friend commit suicide. So it
Oh, wow.
wasn't, it was a norm
Wow.
in our culture, unfortunately.
Wow.
And when my friend that committed suicide, she was the one that used to talk me off the ledge and help keep me sane.
Wow. So I want to, with all that going on, and here you are again. You're still, your mother still,
Hmm.
of a child that has autism.
Hmm.
How did your mental state affect how you were bringing up your child? How did it make raising a child with autism? I'm sure it had to have made things, you know, a lot more strenuous for you.
Yes, yes. Trying to deal with PTSD and mental health issues while dealing with a special needs kid, it is a hard journey. It is definitely not. Stay up all night long, and the anxiety was so bad that I would be shaking in a corner, and then just trying to stay calm for my son because he's very empathetic. So he feeds off of my emotions. He realizes when things aren't right. So mommy always had to put on the game face of that everything's okay, but he ended up developing anxiety issues. Because sometimes I would put my anxieties off on him, and sometimes with autism, they have their own stuff that they're dealing with. So he's trying to figure out his place in the world and cope with his autism, and then he's got a neurotic mother. So, um, and I felt like, okay, I'm screwing up as a mother big time, even though in hindsight, I wasn't. I did the best that I could do. Um, but I just felt like I was overprotective. I wouldn't let him out of my sight unless I had to. He only could be with like certain family members. I tried to, keep him as close as I could.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
think at one point I ended up, kind of like over smothering him with the affection and the
Yeah.
protection. So it was hard. And in his teenage years, just kind of give him some space to grow and develop.
Wow. If you're just joining us, I've got my sister who's become my personal hero. We all have our personal heroes, and we are talking about mental health today, and we're getting the perspective of a retired veteran, and how and I just think it's so interesting because we know where you go. Um, so we know that how I don't think it's uncommon for people who serve in the military to go through things as such as PTSD. I don't know how, I don't know if there's any, statistics on, how often people go through that in the military, but I know it happens a lot. And not that I would ever compare myself to anybody who has fought in the military or fought in war, but being a DJ, and it's really interesting that you will find that a lot of DJs and people who work in the entertainment field, definitely, this is something that they go through, something that I've gone through, I'm going through currently myself right now, which is why this was such an important topic for me to discuss with you guys. But a lot of times for us who work in entertainment, we fall into a place where we have, where I think we laugh in order, to prevent ourselves to cry. I can't even talk all of a sudden. We try to bring joy and entertainment to other people because there's something that's missing within ourselves, and that's why we do it. And unfortunately, you see, you get situations such as what happened with Robin Williams, who was one of the fun. I had always referred to Robin Williams myself as like Uncle Robin, and I just, I didn't even know the guy, but I always felt connected to Robin Williams. I don't know if anybody else felt that way, but I did. And then when I found out that he had unfortunately committed suicide, I was hurt, and I know a lot of people were. And one of the things that really bugged me about that was around that time was that there were so many people who had a lot of chatter to say about Robin Williams, saying that he took the easy way out and it was such a cowardice thing for him to do. But that's not at all, the case. It's just unfortunately when you have people who work, like myself, who work in the entertainment field, and there's something that you're hiding, and we're not supposed to talk about our issues. Similar to what you were saying about, being in the military, there's a certain culture where you're not supposed to talk about these things, but you hide it. You end up suppressing it, and it's a very toxic way to do that. Like I said, like myself, I've been battling depression, like severe depression, for the last few months. Where I think a lot of my depression, like it's hereditary. I'm coming to realize that after we've had conversations about our family, and what you're going through it. I know we've got other siblings who have gone through that. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's deeper than just me, but I know for me being, a male who, and I'm not going to say I'm not going to say that I am exempt from some ego issues, as a male. So I got into a place where I just felt like as a man, I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. Right. I didn't feel like I was, don't get me wrong. I work hard. I've always been a hard worker. But I felt like, and I still feel like my efforts are not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, I have to be the protector and, these other things of my household, I have to be the provider. And when you feel like you fall short of those things, so I think like, a few months ago there, I just like this perfect storm of, feeling like less than, this always feeling less than, it made me really sensitive, and I feel like because of that, I end up maybe blowing up over things that I ordinarily would not, and it's crazy. And I've talked to you about, that I had to sit down at your dinner table and and talk about some of the things that were affecting me. And was it really even that big of a deal? I don't know. Maybe not. But I know I took it, and it's
Right.
been weighing on me ever since. And I haven't been able to shake that. So yeah, 513-655-7060 if you want to join the conversation. Are you going through depression? Have you ever gone through depression? Well, what do you do? So I want to talk to you now. I want to move forward. What have you done to cope with your depression? What type of treatment, therapy, what do you do to get over that? Or I don't know if you ever really quite get over it, but you find ways to make it manageable.
To cope.
To
Right.
cope, yeah. So what is your method? What do you do?
Well, I've been in therapy for years, and I mean years. So it's basically whenever you get to one level of healing, cool. So now you tackle the next issue that you're dealing with your anxiety and your depression. So it's like an onion. You're going through the layers. So every time you complete one journey of therapy, okay, let's deal with the next neurosis, that you might have. For me, it was therapy. With my last suicide attempt, which was really bad, where I just completely disconnected with all reality and everything, I ended up going to the University of Cincinnati's PTSD treatment program. And it was an intensive cognitive therapy program. That one right there was a game changer for me. It really focused more on my PTSD versus the other therapies were more for my anxiety and depression, because believe it or not, you need therapies for each issue, because they each, even though they're similar and they have similar symptoms, it's like the causes and the effects are so different. So in order to be able to manage, I've had therapies for each of those items. Medication, I'm still on medication, and finding different ways, techniques to cope. Like for me, I went to a Wounded Warrior Project event, which is, if you have not heard of the Wounded Warrior Project, please look them up. They are a huge resource for veterans. Because of them, I was able to get therapy that I needed. My husband was able to get therapy. They sent me on PTSD retreats. They're just a phenomenal resource. So if you can, please donate and, support the Wounded Warrior Project, because they are definitely an organization that takes care of veterans. So that's my spiel for them, because they're awesome. They are so awesome. And their services are free for veterans. That's what's so amazing.
Excellent.
But I went to one of their retreats, and it was like a craft retreat. And I found out that I actually have a good eye for design, and it's very therapeutic. And I started playing around with jewelry, and I was like, hey, I like this. Started taking a couple of welding classes and other classes. Next thing you know, I started making pieces, and people were like, oh, you need to sell this. And hence my jewelry business, Lynn Lovely.
hence this set that I'm wearing today. Hence that. We definitely need to talk about that, because I am wearing this piece, the necklace and the matching bracelet. When I saw you post the pictures up on these, I was like, yep, I gotta get it. I gotta get that. I gotta have it. And I had to jump right onto it. So if anybody wants information on how they can find your pieces, or where can they go? How can they find it?
You can go on my website, which is Lynn Lovely, LYNNLOVELY, lynnlovely.com, or you can go on my Facebook page, which is Lynn Lovely, LLC, or you can also check out Lynn Lovely on Instagram.
There you go.
So I'm all over.
There you go.
So those are just some of my pieces. Yeah. It's very bohemian, eclectic, depending on my mood. And depending on these pieces, you can actually kind of tell where I'm at with my mental health.
Really?
which is wherever I'm feeling for that day, like the gears right there. I was feeling kind of all over the place, like, oh, I'm just so scattered. I'm trying to put these pieces together. And it came out in those earrings.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So I mean I love these pieces. Like they are absolutely phenomenal. And it's so interesting that, you know, it took, I don't want to say tragedy because you're here, you're with us. So but it took going through this, you know, ordeal to discover that you had this amazing talent.
Thank you.
And oh my God, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I am going to sponsor personally a piece of Lynn Lovely jewelry. Okay. So y'all reach out to me. Just let me know down in the comments or wherever you happen. You can message me, doesn't matter. And let me know that you are interested in a piece from Lynn Lovely. You've got stuff for men. You've got stuff for women. Let me know what you're interested in. And it's on me. This one will be on me. And we're gonna get this out here. All you got to do, let me know down in the comments that you are interested in this piece, in a piece, and share this post, share this video, and it will also be up on on my YouTube channel. So if you have not yet done so, please go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's just my name, Christian Boykin. All right. So go on over and do that. And I'm hooking you up. I'm hooking you up with my own money. And we're going to support Lynn Lovely on me.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do. As a matter of fact, since we're going to, you know, support Lynn Lovely, and if you want to support this show, you can cash at me so I can, in exchange, buy some Lynn Lovely for somebody else on this show. Y'all can cash at me at Making Noise, and it will definitely help to support the channel. We'll support Lynn Lovely and all, you know, types of businesses. And how has business been for you?
I'm surprised like how well it's taken off. And this is our first year of business. And it's like, wow, like pieces are selling out left and right. Wait list on things like right now, since next month is World Autism, month coming up in April, I'm going to be making some autism pieces in support of my son. So we're going to be doing autism pieces coming up in April. And on the show for The Chosen, actually wore my own jewelry for the show. So
nice.
that was pretty cool.
Okay, so let me see here. Let me. Okay, my bad. I muted myself. So these are images of you and Malachi there, and he will be graduating this year, correct?
Yes, I'm not ready for it. My heart is just like, oh, that's my baby. But he is just such a remarkable young man. Because when we first got his diagnosis, he was nonverbal. Oh, yeah, there's the pieces right there that I wore for the show. Yeah, and actually, that set is available too, if you would like that set. So,
all right.
That set is available.
So, all right. So, and I will say this. Okay, so since that set is available. I am going to sponsor that set. Folks, listen, y'all. That set of jewelry has been or will be on TV. That set of jewelry right there will be on TV. And yes. I am going to buy that set for somebody out there. Let's take another look at it here. Hold on, let me get it back here. All right, so that set,
and it actually has a bottom stone like the green one you're wearing, but in orange.
Okay, All right.
So I will send you another picture of it, so you can put it on the website. So you can
Lovely.
put it on your page.
Lovely.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. All right. So let's see here. So we talked about that. Let me ask you this. Getting back into the conversation, had medication ever come into play for you? I know you talked about therapy. I know
Oh
you
yeah.
talked about what you've done in for purposes of therapy. But I want to talk about the medicines because this is again, like I said, something that I'm going through now with my depression and everything that I'm going through myself, and I've been told like, hey, you need to get on medications. I've got family members who have, who are on medications for anxiety and depression. And they're like, no, you gotta get on it. You gotta get on it. And I'm just like, I don't know. I know there is a stigma around, being on
Huge
medications.
stigma.
So, and therapy, just the idea of, you know, even going to therapy. So can you talk more about the medications if you don't mind, if you don't feel, I mean, I'm only going to pressure you so much to talk about, all of this. So whatever you like to share.
Okay, so there is a huge stigma about therapy and medication, especially in the Black community. Okay, I'm just going to be 100. Black coffee, no sugar, no cream,
There you
straight
go.
up. There is a huge stigma in our community about therapy and medication because you don't need it. We don't do that. We don't need that. Let's not listen to the doctors. Okay, there comes a point where you have to do what's best for you. Okay. I have been on medications. And the thing is, though, you have to figure out which medication works for you because a lot of this stuff, the symptoms cause a chemical imbalance. Okay. So that's the part of the medications is to correct the chemical imbalance that the trauma and abuse has caused. Okay. So
Okay.
anything emotional always has a physical um, outcome. Okay. So when you're
Right.
dealing with mental, emotional stuff, it's going to have a physical outcome, hence the chemical imbalances in your brain. So that's why you need um, the medication, at least for me. I'm just
Okay.
speaking for myself. But I've tried different medications. I finally found something that works and it keeps me together, keeps me calm. It allows my brain to stop and to focus.
So I've been doing some reading on the various medications. I tend to want to know the good and the bad.
Hmm.
I know people have said, well, it levels you out. But what I guess I'm afraid of is like I don't want to be a zombie. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want
If
to.
you're a zombie, you're on the wrong medication.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
You should not be a zombie. What it should do is just quiet your brain. Okay, so you see hamsters on a wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how my head is, but there's like 25 hamsters going on in my head with, a movie playing in the background,
Yeah.
an action movie at that. Okay, plus, it's just like all this confusion and noise in my brain. And the medication just kind of stopped the hamsters, turns down the movie. So that
Okay.
way so I can focus. It doesn't make me a zombie. It doesn't make me all crazy. If that's the case, then you need to switch your medications. Okay.
Okay.
One medication does not fit everybody. There's a reason why there's different ones. Some medications you just might need to treat your depression, or you just might need to treat your anxiety, you
Mm-hmm.
know? So, and then if you're on other medications, then you have to worry about, drug interactions. So you have to find that right combination. And for me, it took a good, oh my gosh, 18 years to find that right combination. Okay. Because when I was diagnosed versus now, the options were so limited. It was usually just the hardcore medications, like you said, that would zone you out.
Right.
You can't do that when you're trying to be a parent. So thankfully, with the new, drug findings and stuff like that, I have the perfect combination for my insomnia plus my anxiety.
Okay. Cool.
And then there's days where they both don't work, and I'm just like bouncing all over the walls, and I still have to, use my other coping mechanisms depending on the day.
Okay. All right, cool. So I do want to ask you this. What do you know about like the more, let's put it, natural medications, the ones that are from the earth? Do you know anything about this? And if you do, I won't tell. But I know
I have been told, okay, through individuals, it does work.
okay.
Positive positive things that help you, and then it is also the dosage that you get. It might be something so small and so tame that your average smoker would be like, why even bother with it? It's
Right,
such
right,
a small amount.
right,
But sometimes it's that small amount helps those
right,
individuals. So
right,
you got to think, that's how people used to treat stuff back in the day. So, and
right,
it is natural. So my thing is, if it works for you,
right.
it
So,
works.
so that's the thing. Like for me, like I haven't done that myself, but I was reading up on it, and I know there's some like really mixed like feelings about it. Like if you're someone who already like suffers from anxiety, that type of thing, depending on what you're using, it could be, it could cause enhanced paranoia, because that's already one of the things that can happen. And if you already are suffering with anxiety in of itself, you might want to be very careful about putting something, taking something, engaging in something that could cause more paranoia. Okay. But I do also, and I'm not bashing it at all, but I know there's a lot of people who think you can just self-medicate, and think it's just going to be, cool, but that may not be the case for everybody. You have to know the different strains, and also you've got like CBDs, these that where you don't have the THC included, the chemical that actually gives you the high.
Right.
All of that. Like, now I have tried CBD myself. I have tried it. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's really, helped my
It
anxiety, but,
depends. It really depends, because the person that I spoke to that has tried that, she actually went to a herbalist, like an actual doctor that, pharmacy for this, and they told her exactly which strands to use. Now, I will use like the CBD lollipops without the THC in it, just because I don't need all that extra drama in my life. So I don't need all this extra drama.
yeah.
But it did help with combination of my medications on really, really bad days when I just cannot cope and I can't function. So those two together has helped. And then you've got, like the herbal teas, just nothing with the CBD in it or the THC, but just regular like lavender teas, chamomile teas. So my tea game has really came up in the past 2 years. Like there's a tea shop here in Cincinnati called the Tea Room LLC. So it's over on Vine Street down in Carthage. Get a chance, go check her out. She's got teas for everything.
Right.
And so, yeah, I've tried just about everything just to try to manage.
Good, good, good. All right. So once again, we have my beautiful sister, my personal hero, and we are discussing mental health, anxiety. Like my anxiety, I've been going through it for probably the last 10 years. As you know, our father passed away in, 2009. And I think that's around the time the anxiety for me started. Again, for me, it takes certain things being stacked on top of each other. The day of our dad's funeral was also the day that it was 1 year anniversary of my grandmother passing away. Now, if y'all are confused, we do share a mister. We share a mister. Okay. So, that's that, right? So just for clarification. So my grandmother passed away the year before on the anniversary date of our father's funeral. And at our father's funeral, that's when I found out that my mom had cancer. Like, I found out at the church that my mom had cancer. I actually ended up walking out of the building. If anybody ever, hey, where'd he go? Yeah, no, I left.
Yeah.
Couldn't take it. Like, actually inside of the church, and, of course, our father passing away with cancer, finding out that my mom had cancer, and being on the 1-year anniversary of my grandmother passing away with breast cancer. It was tough. And then the following year, my mother did pass away, and here I am, 26 years old, and I've, having to make funeral arrangements and all of that, something that, I figured, at some point in my life I would have to deal with those things. But I just honestly didn't believe that it was going to happen so soon in my life. I didn't think it was going to happen in my 20s, that, I would be, I guess, an orphan of sense, and it was around that time, I had lost my job. Right around the same time, which was like interesting because I was a student employee. I had a great job. And I was a student employee. So upon my graduation from Kent State University, I lose my job, right? This is like, here's your degree, say bye to your job, right? End up losing my apartment, having to come back home and, taking care of my mother. While all of this is happening, and somewhere in all of this is where the anxiety, started for me, having panic attacks. I'm very open about it now. I wasn't so open about it until, really recently. But it was something that I hid it from my wife, and for the longest time, like, I would wake up in the middle of the night with like panicking. Like, my thing is like, when I wake up having these panic attacks, I'm just like kind of doing this Flappy Bird thing, and I'm like pounding on the mattress, and my wife would be like, what's wrong? And I would be like, Charlie horse, like, my legs cramping, and I would always do that, right? So for the longest time, and the thing about it is that I would get Charlie horses a lot too, right? So, I mean, like, it was a believable story because it was, that actually did happen. But I would just wake up and I would just grab my leg, oh, no. And she'd be like, you okay? I'm like, yeah. And so that's how I hit it. But I finally came around, to sort of coming open even to her about what was really going on with that. And as I mentioned, like, in the last few months, my depression has been through the roof, to the point where I told my wife the other day that I am terrified that I'm going to end up having a stroke. And that's because now, when I have my panic attacks now, they don't shake as easily as they used to, right? It's like I wake up, it might be a bad dream type of thing, and it's kind of like, oh, I was just dreaming and it's over. But now it's like I wake up sort of like in a sleep paralysis type situation, where it's like, I know I'm having a panic attack. Like, I know what's happening. I know I'm having it, and I can't shake it. And
shake it.
Right, I can't shake it. And when I can't really explain it, but I get into, like, you ever like stand between two mirrors and you just kind of see that reflection?
Yeah.
So it kind of feels like that. It's like I'm inside of a bubble, realizing that I'm inside of a bubble, and I think to myself, oh no, if I don't get this straightened out, I'm going to have a stroke. And that thought pops in my mind while I'm having the panic attack, which only now increases the panic. And it really feels like I am in, well, the echo chamber, so to speak, and, shout out to the show. But that's how it feels. Like, it feels like I'm just, repeating. And I told my wife this, and I told my aunt this recently. And I don't think anybody really knew until I started talking about, I think I might have a stroke. How severe this was, actually for me, and so one thing that I do with coping, and we haven't talked about this yet, but I meditate.
Yes.
I've gotten I've always sort of meditated, but I've gotten out of it. But here recently, I've gotten more into it. We actually have a room in our house now dedicated to meditation. Like, it's like we've got lights and sounds and, whatever, and so it's a whole room. And really, when I meditate, I think people have the wrong idea about what meditating is. It's like,
yeah, they do.
Yeah, like people have this idea that you just shut your brain off, and that's not. I mean, yeah, that's one way of doing it, but that's
and it's hard.
Right. Meditating is more about getting into the zone. Like, getting into a zone, it's sort of like you get into a tunnel vision. So sometimes you focus on your breath, your breathing. Sometimes, like, I will light a candle and focus my attention on the flame. So it's more for me about really not. I don't try to calm my brain. A lot of times, if you ever practice meditation, they'll tell you, oh, if a thought comes in your head, dismiss the thought. I don't dismiss the thought. I embrace the thought, and then I focus my attention, on that one thing there. So that's how I do. I've gotten into like burning sages and all this other stuff. I like scents, fragrances. Actually, I don't know if you can see it, but I do have a oil burner. You can see the green light over my shoulder.
Green.
Yeah, it's actually, blowing steam out right now. I will actually wear cologne to sleep, but because it's something about those fragrances that
just like lavender helps keep you calm. Yeah. And we do a lot of meditation. And I know a lot of people think of meditation and they think it's a cult, like with the occult kind of things and all that stuff. But what people don't realize is that all cultures have some form of meditation. Right. So when I meditate, I do actually more of a Christian meditation where they have Christian apps now for meditation where you're just focusing on scriptures and stuff like that. So I do those. But the biggest thing for me with meditation is the breathing. Because when you have an anxiety or a panic attack, first thing you do is do like this and you stop breathing. And hence my high blood pressure, the whole things that you were talking about, because you're not breathing. So I do the meditations. My son, for some of his autism symptoms, they started him doing meditation. So if he's having a complete meltdown, I'm having a meltdown, and you got two people in the house having meltdowns, we go into the room, put out our yoga mats, we grab our weighted blankets, which if you don't have one yet, get you one. They're really good when you're having panic attacks, is the weighted blanket. And we will put on the music and we will meditate. So it helps.
So I want to get to this. Intern Aries, what's up, man? He hates that. Says that our community doesn't deal with mental illness very well. No, we don't. I mean, and a lot of that is, dealing with, the stigma. Yep. You're not supposed to do this. You're not supposed to do that. You're a strong black man. You're a strong black woman. You don't need that stuff. Yeah. And I have to say that I'm not beyond that. I definitely, when I've thought about going to therapy, because I haven't done that myself yet, but it is like high on, I actually do have a doctor's appointment coming up soon, and I'm going to come, next week actually. And I am going to be discussing all of this with my doctor. I do have, my wife recently had some medical issues, and while we're dealing with her medical issues, I've had, let me check on myself. So I'm checking my blood pressure. My blood pressure is through the roof. I don't know if that's because of my anxiety. I don't know if it's because, over this last year, like I'm working in the office. I'm not hitting the gym. Like anybody knew me that knows, like I was staying in the gym. I went to the gym for the first time 2 days ago. I've probably been to the gym 3 times in the last year. Anybody knows me,
Wow.
that was never
That's not your
me.
norm.
No,
Yeah.
that's not me at all. I don't know, like I've put on a ton of weight, and so that's part of it, the anxiety, all of that. So I do intend on talking to my doctor about all of this and see what he has to say, see what he's going to recommend. I cannot continue to hide from the stigma of I'm not supposed to do this. I'm not beyond that. I'm not better than that. I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm so secure with my masculinity. I don't care who knows." I do find that talking about it, even as we're talking about now, I've had other YouTube videos. Look at Malika.
Yeah. Try to hack him the
Right.
camera.
But having these conversations helps a lot. I've found some good resources on YouTube, and that does actually bring me to this question that Brian Banks is asking. Please share any resources you have on starting meditation. I'd actually like to start. I'm gonna say this, Brian. YouTube, man. Like here's the thing.
Yeah.
I watch a ton of TED Talks. Y'all, I was gonna try to have Faith Daniels on the show tonight.
Oh,
Unfortunately,
she is amazing.
yes, I talked to her right before the show, and
Oh, I love Faith.
yeah, and I did not have I'll say, Faith, hey, I got the show coming up in a half an hour. I'm sorry I didn't reach out to you sooner. But Faith has a TED Talk that she does where she's talking about her own struggles with depression and anxiety. And I'm going to try to see if I can pull that up for you real quick. But
Okay.
she unfortunately she had a call that she had to be on, and it was very last minute, and that's my bad. I was so focused on trying to do all the technical stuff for today's show that I did not prepare for that one. But YouTube is a great resource, Brian. For let me put Brian's question back up here, for meditations, therapy. If unfortunately, not everybody has. This is going into. I didn't want to go into politics, but I am so in support of a universal health care system because there are people out there who need mental health
Yes.
professionals. And listen, we have physical health, we have nutrition, but the mental is like everything. The mental,
Right.
everything
And another
starts
thing
there.
too, resource for him, Tai Chi. Tai Chi, I started Tai Chi classes. And the main focus on Tai Chi, a lot of it is meditation. So you're also, doing the movements and stuff. But I learned how to meditate taking Tai Chi classes. Um, and it's amazing. So I took Tai Chi. It helped my physical well-being, mental, and everything. And so that's where I learned meditation, was through Tai Chi, YouTube videos. There's a really good app called Calm, CALM. I use that app. And it's free. There's another one called Live, LIVE, from Rest. Those are a couple of good meditation apps. The main thing is just don't put too much pressure on yourself. Oh, thanks, Rye. She just put up a note one too. Yep, Abide app is a good app for Christian meditation, and Live from Rest too is a Christian meditation.
What was the last one?
So thanks, Ryan. Live from Rest, LIVE, Live from Rest. I'm sorry, LIVE, Live from Rest. That's a Christian meditation, and the one that Ryan just put up.
There is an app that I am using currently. I have to look it up real quick and see what it's called. I'm terrible. But this is a therapy app. Stop it. All right, there's a therapy app called Sanvelo. It actually, if you do have the health insurance, they will take your health insurance through here, and you can actually schedule some time with a registered therapist. Let's see here. I've got,
And also check with your employers. A lot of employers have mental health wellness benefits that they really don't advertise to their employees. So double check too if that's another option. If your employer gives you just mental health benefits.
So I have a little sneak peek here. I'm not going to play this whole thing, but as I mentioned earlier, Faith Daniels did do a TED Talk where she was talking about the name of this video. It's on YouTube. It's called "Listen to the Sound of Your Own Voice" with my sister Faith Daniels, who has been just so just a blessing to me. Someone who like will go and host the what you call it, the music festival, right? The PNG music festival. And she's in front of thousands and thousands of people. And then she'll leave there and come and do my little event where I've got, 10 people sitting in a crowd. Like, so, she's been an absolute blessing to me. So I'm just going to play just a little smidgety so y'all can, just so y'all have it for reference. So y'all know what it is. And it might be sort of choppy. It's not choppy on my screen, but I know it's like probably choppy for you guys looking at that here. And I don't even know if the audio is going to play for me for this one, which is fine if it doesn't. That's okay. But here it is. That's Faith Daniels doing a TED Talk in Dayton. I have no idea why I'm not getting any sound on that one, but that's it there. Yeah, so go check that out again. I'm see if I can bring this up so you can see the title of it. Yep, there it is. Listen to the sound of your own voice. All right, Faith Daniels, go check that out. And it's definitely worth a watch. My sister, I mean, like, not like you, because you're like my actual sister. That's my, y'all know it. Y'all
we understand.
Y'all, do you really understand? Okay, all right. So,
Yes.
you are my actual sister with
Yes.
blood.
We share DNA.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
DNA match.
Yeah,
Yes.
DNA match. Yeah. So, okay. All right, cool. But this is my other sister, Faith Daniels. So again, if you guys want, before we close out of here, I will open up the phone lines. The phone lines are actually open. If you guys want to call in and share your own stories, that dealing with mental health, depression, anxiety, 513-655-7060. If nobody calls, then I'm going to go ahead and end the show, which is, fine. I do appreciate everybody that's commenting. If you missed any part of this show, it will be on my YouTube channel. Just search my name, Christian Boykin, and I will post it up. I don't know. I haven't eaten yet, so I might not do it tonight, but hopefully I'll have it up there tomorrow for you guys if I don't get it done by tonight. And you guys can check out this whole interview again. Also, if anybody is interested in supporting the show, you can do so by the Cash App. What's it called? Cash App. $$ Making Noise for all you noise makers out there. If anything is appreciated, when I get people to support the show and subscribe to the YouTube channel, it will give me the ability to do more shows like this. Right now, we're only doing Monday evenings. That's our time because I got to work a 9 to 5. iHeartMedia don't pay me that much. So yeah, I threw it out there. Usually I don't say the company names that I work for. I'm putting it out there. iHeartMedia is causing me to deplete my savings account. So which is bad when you work and you're depleting your savings account. So
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't heart media so much these days. Nah, I'm grateful for a job, any job. Let me tell you this funny thing, and I kind of mentioned this to you right around COVID hit. Time that COVID hit, I found out that I am considered a first responder because I work in the media. I am not an on-air personality with iHeartMedia. Like you get no emergency value from me whatsoever. But they actually gave me a letter because they were so afraid at the very beginning. You were talking about the first couple of weeks of the shutdown.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, they're going to implement martial law and all the roads are going to be blocked off. So I got this FBI, CIA letter or whatever the hell this thing was that said that I had military clearance to go through your barricade so I can go to work. Because all of a sudden I'm essential. And
That
no.
was right before I retired. And I was like, whoo, ID card. I can go get groceries. Military ID. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So, no. My job is
First
really,
responder.
my job is really not that important at all.
But you know what? This job here that you're doing is important because you're bringing awareness to our community about mental health.
Thank you, sis. I appreciate that. Oh, so like I said, support the show. And when you support the show, we will be supporting Lynn Lovely. We are going to be giving away the piece that, first of all, let me pull up the website again here. We are going to be supporting Lynn Lovely. So go over and check out my sister's jewelry. And again, she started making this jewelry as her source of therapy to dealing with depression and anxiety, PTSD, all of that. So she started this. I mean, like, look at this. Like, and it's a very well done website. I'm so proud of everything that you've managed to accomplish out of all of this. But we are going to be sponsoring a piece. Now, this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Share this post. Share the post. Comment that you're interested in the Lynn Lovely piece. I don't care what you say. Just say, hey, I want the Lynn Lovely piece. As an added bonus, go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel. You don't have to do that. That's not a part of it. I'm not going to make this so difficult, right? But, listen, guys, subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's free for you. It's priceless for me. Okay. And I am going to sponsor. So I'm going to pay. So I'm not going to make my sister do work for free. Okay. I am going to pay to sponsor this piece here. I'm going to bring up the piece. Let's bring up the piece here. Boom. Let's go back over. So this piece here that Nonie is wearing will appear in season 2 of The Chosen, which will air on TBN. Is that correct?
TBN is doing some airing right now of season 1, but season 2 actually would be out on the app. You'll probably be able to view it on other different social media sites too. And I'm not 100% sure yet about TBN, but it is on there now. And the first season DVD is at Walmart.
First season is
at
Walmart.
Catch up.
Okay.
Yes.
So this piece that she is wearing here will be on your telly at some point in time. On the show The Chosen, in which
1st.
they allowed her to rock her own piece.
Yes.
Allowed her to rock her own piece. This piece here that my bad. I done muted myself. Okay. You know what? Every time I change into this screen, it automatically mutes my feed. All right. So I don't know. I have no idea. So again, this piece right here that you see, which will be on, I don't know when I got cut off, but that she's wearing, will be on your television set on season 2 of The Chosen. And before we get out of here, I will show the trailer from season 1 again. I'm going to play that one more time for the people who did not see that. Excellent. But this piece is going to be in season 2. Share this post. Comment that you are interested in it. I feel like I'm on the Home Shopping Network right now. This lovely piece of jewelry from Lynn Lovely that she is sporting here, that will be on television, will be yours. Share, comment, and if you so choose, please go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and it is just my name. That's how you find it. You don't have to do it to get this. This piece looks expensive. I don't know. I'm maybe, you know, sis might help me out. But I'm not asking for that. I'm just saying, it looks like, it looks like a very valuable piece of jewelry there. And it's that whole set. It's the whole set, right? All right. Mm-hmm. And you said it comes with, a stone that's similar to, the one that I have on. Let me bring myself back up here. I got a lot of buttons that I'm hitting here. All right, so this piece that I have on here, so that piece, you couldn't see it off the frame of the shot there, but it has a stone like this.
In orange.
And does it?
And the bracelets, yep.
We got bracelets in that set too?
Yep.
Bracelets in the set too. All right. I got y'all. That's on me. And let's say maybe that seems like maybe a piece for a woman's piece there. But listen, fellas, if you're seeing this, do this. And maybe that piece doesn't interest you. Go over to
comparable men's.
Go over to the Lynn Lovely website. Find your piece. And it's yours. I'm gonna do that. So we'll see. Maybe one of my fans, and I do appreciate both of y'all for tuning in. Maybe one of my fans might actually see this and actually go follow through with this. But it's a free piece of jewelry on, well, it ain't free. I'm gonna take care of it for you, all right? So, all right, sister. I definitely appreciate you coming on with me today. And this has been a blessing. Absolutely. You have been a blessing. And I see the blessings coming back to you. Like you, we're going to do another show soon. And this show is going to be about autism. All right.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about autism. We're going to talk about Autism Speaks, which we have in the past raised money for before the echo chamber, back when we were still doing Beatwave Radio. We've raised money and we're going to do it again. Team Malachi, all the way. Woo-hoo. Team Malachi all the way. But, maybe you are supporting someone, a loved one with autism. We would love to have you on Team Malachi. We absolutely would. However, if you are supporting someone else with autism, please make a donation to Autism Speaks. And I know we're gonna talk about that more on a future show. But sis, can you give us any information whatsoever right now about how if anybody wants to support the efforts of Autism Speaks, or how can they join Team Malachi? How can they get one of them fancy T-shirts that I had at the last Autism Speaks walk? That was like Tommy. Yeah. That was like a Tommy Hilfiger shirt, man. That's
that T-shirt was designed by our other sister Heather from HB Creations.
There you go.
She created the Team Malachi shirt that year. But yeah, if you want to donate to Autism Speaks, just go to their website, Autism Speaks, and they actually did. We'll talk about it soon. A story of me and Malachi, and we're actually about to do another documentary with them coming up on March 8th. And I'll be having up the website for Team Malachi for this year's walk soon, and I will get that over to you so people can join or support Team Malachi. But in the meantime, just go to Autism Speaks.
I love it. Love it. Nonie, I definitely appreciate you being on here. And again, y'all, free piece of jewelry. It's happening. It's going down, y'all. It's happening. All right, y'all. Like I said, before I get out of here, I did want to show one more time the trailer from season 1 of The Chosen. All right, so y'all check it out and just know that my sister, my eldest, but little sister, older but littler sister, will be on season 2 of The Chosen. Check it out.
Excuse me. I have something for you. For me. Throw this down for a catch.
I don't have a quarrel with you, teacher. We've been doing this all night. Nothing. All right.
Fruit here is incredible. Everything that grows here is immaculate. Except for the people. You're such a miserable lot. You worship one God, and yet you're all divided.
Oh, no, I hit the button. I took it out. I didn't mean to do that. You know what? I'm bringing it back. I don't even care. I'm bringing it back. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. If it would do what I'm telling it to do, I don't know. It's fighting. I don't know what happened. It's fighting me. It won't let me play it again. It's like I hit a button and it said, nah, fool. That's it. It's over for you. Anyway, sis, love you. I appreciate you coming on.
You too.
And this has been awesome. And again, we're going to schedule the next show around. When is the walk usually happen?
The walk is usually in May, but with COVID, we're not sure. But April is World Autism Month.
Okay.
So April is World Autism Month.
All right.
Yep.
Cool. Nonie,
My brother.
I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Echo Chamber. Y'all have a good night.